All right, let's look at something a little more fun, which is cleaning up clothing and making little adjustments like that. So we're moving a little bit more away from the face and more towards the body. I wind up doing this on almost every single photo. Even if you have a stylist on the set with you, it is very, very, very hard to get clothing to just lay just right, not have little wrinkles and bumps and things like this. So I wind up doing this to virtually every single image. It takes just 2 or 3 minutes, and it makes a world of difference in the overall finished image. So first, let's take a look at this image and see. Now, I haven't done a lot of retouching to this one, so it'll give us an opportunity to fix a few things while we're going. But we'll take a look here. We'll start down with the clothing. Well, the first thing that you might look at is the way this kind of bows out here. I mean, you can decide whether you really want it bowing or not and how much you want it bowing. So that's one thing that I would probably adjust. I don't mind it coming out a little bit. It just looks, to me, looks a little bit too much. Let's see what else we might work on. Down here, all these little wrinkles. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does make a big difference. Down here, it's kind of wrinkly and crinkly, and there's a pocket kind of going off to the right here. There's just a bunch of little things that we could do on the shoulders here, over on this shoulder, and it's little stuff. Maybe this arm, maybe tuck these two little arms up just a little bit, and it wouldn't take much to really clean this outfit up. So let's go ahead and do that. The tool that we use for this is Liquify, and it really just does a bang-up job. I mean, honestly, it's just, for this kind of stuff, you can't beat it. Filter, we'll choose Liquify. All right, let's zoom in. I'm going to use Command plus on Mac or Control plus on PC, and we'll zoom in. We'll go to this area right here. Now, we're going to use this tool right up at the top. It's called the Forward Warp tool. It actually has an official name, the Forward Warp tool. And I found that inside Liquify, there's a tip I can give you, I think, that'll really make this tool work for you. When you want to move a whole big thing, you want to use a large brush. But for everything else, small brushes work really, really well here. So if you kind of proportion the size, now, you still use the bracket keys, by the way. You use the bracket keys, but you're going to use Shift right bracket and Shift left bracket because it moves too slowly if you don't. Now, I'm going to kind of put this about the size of what I want to move, and I'm just going to click and just move it in the direction I want to go. So if you just want to bring this in a little bit, you're going to do it in a couple of click and move over. Just do it in little, very subtle movements, and it'll move right over for you. All right, so pretty straight ahead stuff. Just click on it and just slide it over a little bit. Just don't try to move the thing in one big move, and it'll usually work out for you. Now over here, we're usually going to work with a smaller brush, kind of make the brush the size of what you want to push, and then just push it down. Just like that. Look how quickly you smooth that out. It's a little thing, right? It's very subtle, but wait till you see how all these little subtle pushes that we're doing wind up at the end of this photo, making it look so much better. So I'm just going to work my way around the image real quick. And right here, so small brush, maybe even smaller, maybe not that small, and just subtly just give it a couple of pushes, and let's just push it in. I might go a little bit bigger on the brush. And let's just push it in. See, we're just pushing it over. Click and just push it over. There we go. Just kind of flatten it out a bit. Same thing here. We're just going to push it over. And this is such a common retouch. I mean, this is done to, if you see a magazine cover, you know this has been done. Or they just have the tremendous fortune of their clothes always falling perfectly. No, of course, I know that this is what they do because I have friends that do this for a living. All right. There we go. We're just gently pushing it over, trying to get it somewhat flat. You don't want it to look too perfectly flat, or it'll look silly. But you want to get rid of this stuff. There you go. Look at this pocket hanging out here. I'm just going to drag that thing right over, moving my cursor all the way to the bottom and just tuck it right over. I'm not as concerned about that. It's kind of down here in the dark, so it's not a big deal. Let's go check the other side. Couple little things here. Look, just push it over a little bit. Maybe push this in just a hair. And then right there. Just get rid of all the little wrinkles and all the little distracting things. Now see, this is a great example to see what's going on. You see how there's little ripples here, and I keep moving the ripples over. It's because I have too big a brush. If you want to get rid of a ripple, get it down to the size and then push. That's what the problem was. The whole thing was moving as a big block. And if you work with the big brushes, a lot of times you're going to get burned by the big brushes. Now, over here on the arms, if you want to move that, now's where you want a big brush, because you want to move a big thing. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean you want to move a large part of the image. So let's just tuck this up like that, and then tuck this up a bit. Tuck the whole thing up just a little bit. Just kind of pick it up, just click, and drag it upward a little bit. Just like that. Just kind of tuck this up over here, and there we go. I was going to say you can kind of pull this out a bit if you want, and then tuck this up at the same time. But you just kind of have to nudge it. Luckily, as you move it, I mean, that's not a real big trick to this. I wish you could say, oh, there's a fabulous trick. As you're moving, you'll see it move. The trick is just be subtle about it. Don't move. Don't make big movements. Make them very subtle like I just did here. And now up here, see that little thing popping up there? Let's just get rid of that with a brush around its size. Just kind of tuck it right down. Look at how nicely that works. Alright, and we kind of move our way around. And there's a piece of her hair kind of popping up here. So let's just go ahead and sculpt that while we're here, right? Get a brush about that size. Actually, just back off a little so you can see. There we go. And just tuck it down. Now you see how when I was pulling down, it grabbed part of the ceiling, the roof of the thing. So just be careful when you do that to kind of move left to right and not pull down. But look at that. It just that little bit made a great difference in her hair. And I think we've pretty much smoothed everything out as much as we need to for this part. Now, do you think, oh, maybe just tuck that in just a hair. All right, so let's back off. I'm going to click OK. It takes a moment to apply your changes, but I want to show you what a dramatic difference this is. All right, take a look. Now, let me just, most of our changes were done lower, so I'm going to kind of move this up a little, cut off a little bit of the top of her head. Watch the difference when I do undo and redo. So I'm just going to press undo liquify, Command Z, and then Control Z, so you see before and after. Watch. Look, after, before. Look at that, after, before. And you know what? It probably actually made it a little too smooth in here. I like to make it just, I like to leave a little bit. I just don't want this much. Look at that. Watch the tummy getting tucked there. The arms getting pulled in. This is much less obtrusive. Watch the head up here. Look at the head. From there, the hair gets tucked in nicely. Shoulders over here. A little bit of the arms. Watch the arm right here. Arm over here. It's tiny stuff, but look at what an advantage it had over the whole image. Now, when I look at this and I kind of step back and say, what did I think that I should have done differently? There's one thing that stands out to me. See, I'm going to give you a second. Look and see if it stands out to you. Yeah, I'll give you a hint. It's right below her arms. You see how this little piece of fabric kind of goes outward here. It just kind of looks, and it really wouldn't, right? It would kind of just continue upward. That's an area that I would go fix. So let's go back to liquify. Let's zoom in on just that area. Get a small brush and just pull just that over right there so it doesn't head upward. There we go. And then just pull this out a bit. There we go. And since we're putting a couple little ripples back in, I might go back to the other side. Let me get smudge that back. There we go. I might go over here and just let a little one come out. So now we're going to actually push one of these wrinkles back out so it doesn't look quite so obvious. There we go. Just a little bit. Push one or two out. Maybe we'll tuck this in a little extra. There we go. So it just looks a little more realistic. Take a look, and so we added, now we're going back and making our stuff look not too perfect, but look at the difference it made here, right there. Now it kind of tucks back in, and I got a little bump going out here and a couple little bumps here. All right, but still, now I want you to contrast that where we started. Let's do that. So we started up here. Well, actually, I darkened the image some before we started. There we go. We're going to continue on with this retouch in the second segment because there's some other things I need to fix in here and that we can kind of just take a little step further.